Welcome to our weekly Mitzvah Shabbos program. Today, by Mincha, we read Parshas Chayesore. So I want to touch upon a few things here. For this coming week, Parsha Chayesore is a very unique Parsha. Every Parsha is unique. But we can learn a lot of inyanim als heroe from this Parsha. Number one, we learn from this Parsha Chayesore about Shidduchim. We learn in this Parsha Chayesore about tznius, to be modest. We learn for the Parsha the goal of a Jewish woman and Akeres Habayis, and also the Indian of Taras HaMishpacha, purity of the family. This is all taken from the Rebbe's letters. The Chabad custom is not to make a hesped eulogy. When somebody passes away, Chabad custom is not to make a hesped. Why don't we make a hesped? I mean, the world does, but we don't. Because when a person goes to the other world is called Olam HaEmes, the true world. This world is called Olam HaSheker. This is a false world. And the way we act and the way we talk about the person that passed away, that has an effect on his neshama. So if we praise the person more than you're supposed to, maybe it's not 100% true. And if we do less than we're supposed to, it's also not 100% true. Because he is now in Olam HaEmes. So therefore we don't make a hesped. Olam HaEmes means emes. You know they say emes, like they say a woman, or she's pregnant or she's not pregnant. She cannot be a little pregnant. It has to be 100%. So we don't make a hesped. So the question is, why does it say in the Torah this week that Soreh, Avraham made a hesped on Soreh? Vayovei Avraham lisped l'Soreh v'lifkaiso. So some Mefarshim answer by, I think this is the only time in the Torah, maybe another time, maybe it says by Yaakov, but not too many times it says by that hesped, because it says that Soreh was Meir Shana, Vayichai Sorah, Meir Shana, Ve'esrim Shana, Ve'sheva Shonim. That she was, when she was 100, she was like 20, l'chait. Just like when she was 20, there was no sin. So the same thing also, she was 100 without. So she was kulan shalvin because she was 100%. So whatever you praise her, you're not saying false. Because whatever you praise about Soreh, she deserved everything. That's why by Soreh you make a husband. Now, what is the greatness of Soreh? What's so holy about Soreh? We know Rimois, Soreh, Rivka, Rochel Leah, they were Tzisha Tzidkonias. But what was her greatness that she did? So it says, by her thing was Kvudo Bas Melech Penimo. The honor, a daughter of a king, is inside. As we learned today in Parsha Vayera. The glory of a Jewish woman, a girl, is inside. Tznius, the Indian of Tznius. And this is what made her very great. It's her Tznius. And this is the lesson to us. Now, over here, I picked up a letter. I'm just going to read a small 2 paragraphs. That the Rebbe speaks about girls girls of Beis Rivka, girls of Beis Yaakov, and Bichlal Jewish girls. And the Rebbe writes, I'm not going to read the first paragraph about the gathering, but the Rebbe says, apropos of the above reference to the proper conduct of Jewish girls, especially in the present generation, which is noted for laxity in many areas, and in reply to the question which has been addressed to me by many inquirers as to what should be the length of girls' dresses and skirts. I have already made known my opinion on this matter, namely, that as a general rule applicable to all Jewish girls and everywhere, and the Rebbe underlines that, the dress should be long enough to cover the knees in a sitting position. The above, as emphasized, is by way of general rule and minhag. However, it is necessary to bear in mind that according to custom prevailing in certain communities or circles, the above norm may not be adequate. For in matters of tznius and the like, a local custom sometimes dictates more stringent norms than the above minimum. Consequently, it is up to the local rabbinical authorities to determine what is the minimum requirement to be observed, in particular in that locality. It should be added, and this due to an important point, where local conditions necessitate a stricter observance, this does not necessarily imply that the strict norms are merely by way of an extra restriction, since it is possible that because of prevailing conditions, this strictness may be forbidden by Torah law, as similar situations are often found in halacha. Anyways, so then the Rebbe goes on and gives brachas. But this is the Rebbe Shita, and this is what we can learn from Soreh. And it says in Sfarim that why did Soreh have a schus to have a son like Yitzchak? They say like the Baal Shem Tov, his parents had a schus because because the parents were big in achnasas orchim, so they were zeiche to have a son like the Baal Shem Tov. Here, Soreh was zeiche to have a son like Yitzchak because of her tznius. It says this for him, and it says when Mashiach will come, we will say, we'll say ki ato avinu an Yitzchak, not Avraham, not Yaakov, but dafke Yitzchak. Why Yitzchak? Ki ato avinu, and that's the schus that Yitzchak has from Soreh, because he'll say, I think it says, I don't know exactly here the Gemara, but when Mashiach will come, we'll look back and we'll see Bonei Chotu didn't did Averis. Do they deserve? So Yitzchak will come and say, how long does a person live in this world? Let's say 100 years, 120 years. Let's say now the lifespan, let's say 100 years. Half of the time, a person sleeps. 50 years. So it's 50 years. You're not going to say he did Averis 100 years. When a person sleeps, the person doesn't do Averis. So it's only 50 years. Out of the 50 years, 10 years, a person eats. Let's say a person eats, he doesn't do Averis. So give him some credit. So it's only 30 years left. 40 years. Then give a person 10 years credit that a person did some good. So it's only 30 years left. So let's split it, Yitzchak will say. I'll take half upon myself, and you take half upon yourself. And who made this inyan is Yitzchak Avinu. And this is because it says for him the tznius of Sarah Yemenu, Sarah his mother. So this is what the lesson that we can learn from here. Now, about clothes. Also, when a girl goes to Mitzrayim, they always must learn from Sarah. Kvudo bas melech penimo. As we learned in the Parsha today, in Parsha Vayera. And we see what happened to Dino, Vateitze Dino. Look what happened to her. Because a woman's inyan is penimo. And that's why also our mother, who is called our mother, Rebbe Tzechai Mushke, the Rebbe's wife, our mother of our generation, our spiritual mother. Look how she was tzanua, while she was kvuda bas melech penimo. Mame, she always stayed in the house. She always stayed inside. Kvuda bas melech penimo. And this is how our children should behave. Then the Torah says about a shidduch, how what Avram wanted Eliezer to find a girl for his son Yitzchak. So the Torah says, Lo sikach isho livni mibnoi saknani. Don't go to the Bnei Saknani. Ki al artzi vel moladeti telech. Go to my land and ishomer lecho. Remember, watch yourself. Pen toshiv es bni. They shouldn't take my son there. And then Eliezer, when he saw Rivka, said, Mliabeis avi telech vel mishpachti. He wanted bedafke, it should be mishpachti. Dafke from his family. And here we can learn something very important. How for us today, we can learn like this. We're talking about shidduchim. You know, there is people, and the Rabbi didn't agree with that. There are people that when a girl goes out or a boy, the parents, they want the parents to have, they should come from Yichas, that the girl or the boy should be from Yichas. The Rebbe felt that you have to be Yichas Atzme. A person has to have his own Yichas. Of course, it has to be a Jew, of course, but it has to be Yichas Atzme. Now, there was a letter here, which I don't have it in front of me, a very important letter. A woman writes, she was by a shliach, and she writes the name of the shliach, which I'm not going to mention. And the shliach told her that when all Jews are the same, whether you're religious or you're not religious, we're all the same. We all come from Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. Yisrael is abbreviation. Yud is Yitzchak and Yaakov. Sin is Sarah. Reish is Rachel and Rivka. Aleph is Avraham. And Lamed is Leah. As long as a Yid has a Jewish mother, they're the same. Good. And so now she has to marry off her daughter. And she writes to the Rebbe that some people don't want to go out with my daughter because I was not religious. And they want bedavke for religious. That's fair. The Rebbe was very, very strong against that. The Rebbe wrote a whole letter that fakert. We see Rivka Yimenu. We see what house she comes from. And look, Yitzchak took her. That's not the Rebbe's way. So we have to, but it has to be a Jewish girl, but the yichas that where they come from is nish negeya, as long as they are kosher yid. Now here I want to share with you one paragraph. This is the Rebbe, a letter from the Rebbe. A girl writes, she met a boy through Mivtzoyim. She doesn't write whether Miftzah Neshek. She met a boy through. That's how she writes. A very nice boy, and he's becoming from. He's becoming from. He's not yet, but he's becoming from. Can I consider marrying him? So first of all, the Rabbi answered, don't mix marriage with Miftzayim. Even if she is sure that he will become religious, a religious girl should marry a religious boy. Don't wait until maybe that she thinks he's going to become from. We don't mix it together. Now here, I want to read this letter. It's not clear, but this is a letter from the Rebbe. Just one paragraph. An interesting letter. In reply to your letter, I was pleased to hear that you are strictly an Orthodox girl and wants to get married to a strictly Orthodox boy. However, I cannot approve nor give my blessing to your proposed marriage in view of the fact that the boy desecrates the Shabbos, even though unwillingly. A Jew must make every sacrifice for the observance of the Shabbos, and when there is truly a will, God helps. This is an answer to her. Now, next paragraph, the Rebbe says to her, may God grant your chosn, the Rebbe calls her chosn, a good heart to begin to observe the Shabbos, and may He provide him and sustenance without desecrating the desecration of our religion, like a true Jew. And then I give my blessing that God grant you a happy life. So here we see, when it comes to a marriage, how you have to be careful, even if you meet somebody who's not 100%, but you have to know that it has to be 100%. Now, and there are many boys that ask the Rebbe also about Shidduchim, and the Rebbe answers more or less the same idea. And as it says in this parsha, in Chaisora, that Eliezer, when he met Rivke, and he made he hinted to himself, V'amarte Eleho, when she will say, ask for water, and she'll say, Gamato, I'll give water to you and the camels also. He Aisho, Asher Chachto Hashem Leben Adoni. This is the lady. This is the woman that, and then she saw Yitzchak, and she took a tichel, and she covered her face. Tznius. So we see from this parsha, and this is the hero, and this is what the Rebbe would say. And the Rebbe said that a girl, if you're looking for a girl for a shidduch, look for three things. Number one, chesed, like Rivke. Number one, tznius, we see from Sore, we see from Rivka, and a religious girl that she should that she should be from a good family, or she should be a good family. And the Rebbe said that this is that we can learn from this parsha. Then, I'm just following the parsha, that the Torah says that after Yitzchak saw Rivke, so Vayiviyeho Yitzchak Oyala, he brought her into the tent, and then he married her. Vayeho. So Rashi says that when he brought Rivka to the tent, so it says that Shekol's man, that Sarah was here, there was a candle burning from Erev Shabbos to Erev Shabbos, there was a blessing in the dough, and there was a cloud over the tent. And it says, Vayiviyeho Yitzchak. Then it says Vaylisha. when you brought her in, right away there was a candle. Of course, the Rebbe learns out, I'm not going to go into that sikha. The Rebbe learns out from here that from here we see that a girl should light candles before the marriage. Because it says first, Vayiviyahu Yitzchok, and that Ner Dol could be out of Shabbos. And Rivka was 3 years old then. She was before marriage over there. Then it says, Vadilo Leisho. But I'm not going to go into that. But here we learn a few things about Neiros, Chala, and Nido. And I'm going to finish with that. We say every Friday night, this is to the girls, this is all from, I gathered from letters. It says, Sheker Achein, Vehevel HaYoifi, Isha Yiras Hashem, Hitis Halal. False is a favor, beauty is nothing by a woman. Isha Yiras Hashem, a woman that fears the Eibishter, this is the most important. She should be praised. So the question he asked over there, beauty is nothing. The Torah says that all Jewish women are beautiful. And the whole ness of Purim, if not the beauty of Esther Malka, we wouldn't have the miracle. That's why Achashverosh married her. And we see that Sarah, the Torah says, was Yifastoyer. And we see Rivka was Yifastoyer. Rachel was Yifastoyer. So why do we say Sheker? It's false. How can he say that? So the answer he says, is a very important answer. Sheker Hachain. Hachain is Heiches Nun. These are 3 mitzvahs that a woman has. Hey is Hadlokas Haneris. Ches is Chalo. Nun is Nito. As we see, that when Rivka came into the tent, if, he says, Sheker Hachain, if the Hey is Sheker, if the Hadlokas Neiros candles is false, it doesn't mean that she doesn't light candles. We're not talking about people that don't light. She lights, but it's not important. She does it fast 1 to 3. At the moment that she lights the candles and she covers her eyes, she can ask the Eibishter everything. And the children stand, the Rebbe writes, around the table, and they watch the way the mother covers her, or the daughter covers the eyes. And she has in mind brachas and brachas and brachas for everybody. But she doesn't do it, she has no time. She just makes a bracha fast. If that is Shakir. Or Challah. Why does she have to make Challah and make a bracha? She can go to the store and buy ready-made Challah. But it's an union for a woman to bake Challah. The children, when they come from school, from yeshiva, they come home and they smell the Challah. This is part of chinuch. But by her, she doesn't have to. She's busy. She's busy with other things, and the bracha. I mean, it's an extra bracha they gave her to take a piece of dough and put it on fire and make a bracha. But if that's shaker or nido, the preparation for taras hamishpacha, for going to the mikveh, for separating from her husband, this whole inyan, she does it, of course, but it's not serious about it. Too serious. She doesn't learn too often about the halachas. If that's sheker hachain, then hevel hayofi, then beauty is nothing, because beauty today you're beautiful, and in 10 years your nose changes and you look different. That's only temporary. So hevel sheker hachain, if that's sheker, then hachain. Why? Because isho yiras Hashem hitis halal. Because the most important thing is, the real beauty is a woman that fears God. And that's why the Eibishter gave her the separation. She is given the responsibility to separate. When she lights candles, she says, Good Shabbos. The whole home knows that now it's Shabbos. She separates between the weekdays and the holy days. When she bakes challah, she takes a piece of dough and she makes a bracha, she separates from the Gashmis, and she makes it Ruchnius. And the same thing also Taras HaMishpacha. The children, how do we know the child is a Jew? Doesn't matter what the father is. The main thing is what the mother is. So Hamavdil ben Kodesh l'Chayil, ben Doil l'Chayil, ben Yisrael l'Amim, it depends on the woman. To her inner, the main thing is, this is what a woman is. And this is the achrayas that the Eibishter gave a woman. And then, when she will get married, when she's married, she'll have the children. She'll have children, healthy children, Rabbi writes here. Healthy children. Children that will follow the Torah mitzvahs. And she won't have Agbas Nefesh for the children. It'll be Bon Echaye Umezeine Revicha. The main thing is Tznius Chesed. And that shows that this is the girl that a person should choose. And this is the Hadrah that we can learn from the Parsha of Chayei Sarah. Next week, we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.